Hello and welcome to the TT Podcast. This is the podcast where we talk to one person from the world of the TT racers to discuss their lives, their journeys, their ambitions, and their relationship with the greatest motorsporting event in the world. I'm Chris Pritchard, and alongside me, Steve Plater. You all right, Steve?
Good, Chris. Looking forward to this one.
I'm getting good at these intros now, aren't I?
Yeah, practice makes perfect.
Well, exactly. It's only taken me a year now to master it. How excited are you for this one?
Hey, this one might be aggro. Might have trouble keeping this man quiet. He just waffles on and on and on. It's all good stuff.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that. You see him in the paddock and he'll come out with a story and it's just, you could just sit there for hours listening to him. So hopefully the listeners are going to enjoy this one.
He's a busy man all year round, loves the TT, and it's going to be interesting.
Today's guest on the TT podcast, in my eyes, is Mr. TT. There isn't a job on this island too small for Milky to get his hands dirty with during the TT fortnight. One night he's erecting barriers in the fan zone, next he's chatting to the newcomers, making sure they're prepared, and next he's in the VIP, showing everybody exactly what it's like to do a lap around the TT course. He's a Manxman through and through, as well as probably the biggest TT fan I've ever met. In 1996, he made his TT debut, and out of his 11 starts, he's finished 10 of those, and even made his childhood dream of winning a TT a reality in 2002 in the lightweight class. Unfortunately, the only thing to get in the way of Milky and more TT success was a huge crash at Ballasper, which I'm sure we'll touch on at some point during this podcast. This intro really doesn't do this man justice. I can't wait for this one, Steve. Shall we get into it?
And now he's teaching people.
And now he's teaching people. Milky.
World's not wise, is it?
Welcome to the TT podcast.
Thank you, boys. Thank you ever so
How
much.
are you?
Yeah, lovely. It's a pleasure to be here, boys. Thank you ever so much.
Pleasure to have you. We'll start with the same question that we ask everybody. I want two variations on this one, ideally. We always ask. Not the truth. We always ask people, mainly the riders, what it's like rolling through that no man's land, getting under the gantry, getting that hand on the shoulder, waiting for that flag to go up. From your memories, how did it feel for you?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is for me, I always loved it. I know some lads go, I get really nervous and I can't concentrate. But for me, you've been waiting all year for it. And that was it. It was time to go. It was like, get in there, I'm here, let's get on with it. And
it was a bit different for Milky. He had to run and push and
yeah, put my pudding-based helmet on, yeah. But no, I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed being in that dead zone. It was like, for me, it was, I don't know about you, Stevie, but for me, it was always beforehand when I was getting my leathers on in the van, I'm shaking like a shitting dog.
Really?
Know? Yeah, and it was be like, I'm really nervous. And then walking up to the line and everyone's like, anticipating what's going to happen for me, and that was the worst bit. Once I was in the dead zone, I was like, right, I'm here, I'm to do the job, let's get on with it.
Business time.
Yeah, and all I was thinking about, if it was different and start number one, there's a lot of pressure on you, I suppose, because you are the first away and you're wondering what the road conditions are like, and that's what used to go through my brain was the race. I was already in the race then. Mm-hmm. Once I was in that dead zone, I was like, right, if I was behind someone, I'm like, I'm having him, I'm catching him, that's what I'm trying to look for. Mm-hmm. And if I was number one, it'd be like, right, I hope Reba Castle's nice and dry. So I actually liked it. I mean, maybe it's a sadistic thing, but I actually liked being in that dead zone because, again, your family had all gone as well. You weren't concentrating on them, and you said your goodbyes effectively, and it was like, right, come on, let's get on with it. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's a weird thing that a couple of riders have said that about being number one, being almost a road sweep for everybody else.
Yeah, I loved it.
But the next guy is only 10 seconds behind. Road's not going to change between one going through and the other, is it?
Thing.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, you are the road sweeper. I mean, I've had cats, dogs run out in front of me, birds, everything. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But no, it's you always. Yeah, I mean, I always loved having that clear road. It was like, right, yeah. Because, I mean, ultimately, it's not like a short circuit where you've got 20 or 30 other lads around you. It's literally just you're racing the track anyway. So there's no one in front of you. There's no one to hold you up. That's the way I always thought about it. And they'd be like, right, come on, let's get on with it. But
did you not see it as there was no carrot just in front of you to chase down, so you never knew how hard to go down or not?
I for me, you see, I knew, when I went in the day, but I knew I was always fast, and I thought, I'm racing the circuit. The circuit's what I've got to beat, so that's what I'm challenging myself against, not Joe Bloggs behind me or in front of me. So for me, I loved it. I loved being number one. And I think John's like that as well. John knows he's fast. He's got a clear track. He isn't going to get, I'm sure Steve will tell you, you know, for me, I used to hate when you used to catch someone, you'd start catching someone and they'd just be that little bit slower than you. And then so you'd have to try and get past them, and then you couldn't get past them, you shut the door on you. And whereas for me, I'd just like to be clear on my own. And for me, that's what makes the TT so special, is the fact that you are on your own. It's your own personal racetrack. It's magical. There's nowhere else in the world that's like this.
Absolutely.
It's like going to Brands Hatch on a track day and it being your personal track.
Just you and your, you
have to pay that, tens of thousands of pounds to have that privilege. And it's just sensational, the fact that you're on your own, and you can, again, you're not trying to defend your line. You can open the apex up and nice flow and smooth run through, and you don't have to defend anything. So for me, it's sensational. That's being on your own, number one on the road. Bring it on.
We'll get to the start of how your TT career started, but just on that, Peter Hickman, for instance, always starts 10, somewhere around that. Someone as fast as him, why don't he decide to go number one then? So he gets a clear run and he can go as fast as he wants.
I keep asking that question because it's a massive hindrance.
Yeah.
You know, for sure, his race time could be better.
I think it's, again, coming from the short circuit nature of always being with somebody and trying to get that. We watch it on MotoGP every other weekend, and everyone's hanging on for the fast lad to try and tag onto him to try and pull him around. And I think Peter's still hanging on to that a little bit. Whereas he doesn't need to. He could literally go number one, and that'd be it. It'd be clear off, and no one's seen where he was going. I mean, like this year, for instance, I'm sure if Dino would have put in 135, then Peter would have just put 136, 137. He does on 138. Peter had it under control this year by far. I'm sure. He was on fire this year. It was amazing.
Yeah.
He can dominate the race and control it, and number one would be the perfect thing for him to go, I'm sure. But again, it depends on your mindset, what you want to do, and how he's focused. But obviously, he's happy at number 10. He's not bothered by it. He's the fastest man at the moment, anyway. So maybe when someone starts to challenge him, he might think, actually, I'm getting held up here. I need to get clear. So let's see. In a couple of years' time, you never know.
But you were the Peter Hickman back in the day, right?
I don't live in a caravan. No.
So where did all your love come from? It obviously you're a Manxman at heart, so I presume you just grew up with the TT and.
Yeah, I mean, I class myself very privileged. I live in the best place in the world. The most beautiful place outside the TT. The Isle of Man's a beautiful place.
As long as it's not raining.
Well, yeah, you got to have a bit of rain, though, haven't you? Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like if you lived in Spain, you open the door every day and it's like, oh right, sunshine. It's Groundhog Day, isn't it? Whereas here, you open the door, it's raining. I've got to put my coat on today. Oh shit, I can't do much today. But when it is nice, you go and do shit and Oh, sorry, I'm allowed to swear. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you are.
You can say what you want.
So it's the Isle of Man. Honestly, it's the Isle of Man outside the TT. It's an amazing place to live. Dead relaxed, dead laid back. It's friendly. It's that your car's not going to get robbed or your house isn't going to get robbed, and it's a class place. It really is, and I'm passionate about the Isle of Man. I love it. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. And there are some mega places around. There's lots of mega places around the world, but for me, this is it. And to have the best race in the world here as well it's magical. I've got the best of both worlds. I've got it when it's nice and slow and relaxed, and then I've got it when it's mental TT time. So
it was a TT that got you into motorbikes rather than watching GPs or anything like that?
Yeah, TT always. Yeah. I mean, just as a young lad. I mean, I'm originally from down the south of the Isle of Man, so the Southern 100 really was my first real thing of watching motorbikes. My dad used to marshal at the Southern 100. So as a little young boy, my dad used to just tip me at the hedge at Southern 100. And I was like, it was the old days of the TZs and 350s and stuff, and the smell of the two-strokes. And it was like, that's what I want to do when I grow up. I was only 3-4 years of age, and that got me into it.
Yeah.
So it was,
Anybody that's listening, it cracks me up every time. Because every time somebody says that, but it's, I live down the south. It's like, what? It's just flipping table. What are you on about now?
South of the bridge.
I live just over there.
Yeah. About 2 miles away.
Well, that's the thing. You go to the Isle of Man mindset, and you go, I've got to go to Ramsey today. Oh, for fuck's sake. Not all the way to Ramsey. Not over the mountain. It's only 9 miles. It's like, oh no, I'm not going to Ramsey. He's not going to Ramsey. But I know it's like it's just one of those things that
island life.
Yeah, you get used to it, and people come from England, move over here, and they go. They're used to doing a 100-mile commute to work every day, and then after 2 years, they're like, oh no, I'm not going to Rams. I'm not going down to Port Erin. Sod that. No, it takes too long. And
I think I'm at that point now. I've been over that point. 'Cause I'm thinking I want to go to Ramsey, and then I'm like, I'm bothered. I'm not going all that way.
Yeah.
So 700 was where you first got interested in bikes then?
And then obviously onto the TT. And the thing was, me, I could go to the 700 on my push bike.
Yeah.
I could cycle down there and watch it on my own with my mates at school. I went to, like, say, Castle Rushen High School down in Castletown, and you used to actually it was amazing, you used to actually get the Thursday afternoon off to watch the racing.
That's
Where else in the world does a school give you the day off to go and watch motorbike racing? It's like, yes. So it was, for me, the Southern was the real sowed the seeds.
Yeah.
And then the TT, then I could only ever get to the TT when my dad went to go in. So, it was probably a little bit later then I got right into the TT then. And again, I used to go to, funny enough, I used to go to Ballyspur and watch with my dad. And, and that's where I had my big crash as well. And it's like, Jesus Christ, but it's just that thing of being sat on the hedge with your little radio, with your sarnies, on a little picnic, and Brandywell as well. I've crashed at Brandywell as well. I used to go to Brandywell with my mum. My mum used to sit in the car doing the knitting. She'd be sat in the knitting, and me and my dad would be down watching. My brother wasn't really into motorbikes, so he wasn't that bothered, but me and my dad would be on the hedge, on the fence, watching at Brandywell when he could get right next to the road, and like I say, my mum would just be sitting knitting.
I get that. I've seen your dress.
yeah. Hey, there's nothing wrong with mine. But it was, the TT again was the magical thing. It's once a year, and it's really, just, it's amazing, isn't it? It's just.
So, but how do you go from fan to actually competing?
Well, again, nowadays the young kids now, they're racing motorbikes when they're their age of blooming 6-7 years of age on short circuits and stuff. But for me, I was a road rider. Mm-hmm. So I literally, as soon as I was 16, it was like, I'd get my motorbike, get my wheels. Because I lived, like say, down the south. I lived in the countryside. I lived in top of Ballyculferrick, right in the hills. Again, I'd say it's top of the hills, but it's only 5 minutes down the road to civilization. But I lived up in a place called Ballyculferrick, middle of nowhere. So if I had to go
where is that, down near the airport somewhere?
It's above the hills behind the back of the airport. Right, okay. So the A30, have you ever done the A36?
Yep.
A36, best road on the Isle of Man. Everyone goes about the TT course being best road in the Isle of Man. Best road in the Isle of Man is the A36.
Which one's that?
It's phenomenal. It literally goes from Port Erin over the top of the southern hills.
Oh, yeah.
And you can either go down to Dolby and Glen May or go through to Foxdale.
I worked on the Porsche GT4 launch.
Yes. Yeah. I know all the different bike launches and stuff I've ever done, I've always said, we have to do some filming over there because it is brilliant. It's like a mini mountain, it is. And I used to test my TZ up there. There's no police watching me. But I used to test my TZ. I used to test my TZ up there because it used to be really, really bumpy. They've smoothed it out a lot now. Yeah. But there was never any feds there. You could literally just. I used to fire the bike up over the top, run back over to Foxdale, back again. Oh no, I need to tweak the suspension. Back over again. It was amazing. It was amazing.
That's why you were so good then.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but it's a real good road, that is, the A36. Anybody that ever wants to come over, just have a run over the A36. It's really good. I mean, ultimately, that's how, like I say, as soon as I was 16, I had a road bike, and it was like, right, come on, I want to get out riding. And all my mates at school, when there was quite a few of us, there was about 7 or 8 of us all got motorbikes when we were 16, like you do. And that doesn't happen now, does it?
No.
Kids don't go ride motorbikes now. That's why I'm a little bit worried about the bike future, really, because there is no kids coming
next
into
generation
it.
Coming through,
They just get a car now and they just forget about a motorbike.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a motorbike. The mums, dads don't want them on dangerous things like that. So it's like.
So that age, 15, 16, getting your first moped bike. Who did you look up to? Who's your hero?
Joey Dunlop. Yeah, Joey was
still TT, not superbike wise.
No. Well, it's a Shell Super Cup ship on it. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't BSB
right.
then. It was I think it was a Shell Super Club or something. Super Cup.
Super Cup. That's
right. Yeah. So Whittam. I remember watching Whittam. I remember watching 85, 86 was the first when it was televised, and they had Roger Marshall on the VFR.
Reggie, yeah.
They had Whittam on the Suzuki. They had Parrish on the FZ. And that was amazing because it was a televised series, wasn't it? And I really watched that on BBC One. It was brilliant. I love that series. And that Keith Ewan. I remember Keith Ewan on the FZ as well, and it was the proper, real good things. And I used to watch the Transatlantic series as well because that was televised, wasn't it? And because there was no Sky then or anything like that, so you couldn't watch anything. There's no YouTube, you couldn't watch anything. So it was like, shit, that's on the telly. I need to make sure I set the recorder, get the Betamax out. But yeah.
Mate, that reference has just gone over about 90% of our listeners.
Yeah, Betamax, what's that?
They won't even know what a VHS is.
Yeah, we couldn't afford a VHS.
But that was like, the Transatlantic was when Schwantz and Rainey came over.
It was fantastic.
That was.
It was. I mean, it was always on at Easter. It was Easter time it was on. And it was, because there was nothing else on telly. There's only churchy stuff, wasn't there, at Easter time. The Songs of Praise or something. So it was like, there's nothing else on it. But the Transatlantic series really, for short circuit racing, that was like, wow, yeah.
But that didn't make you want to go short circuit racing watching it. You just enjoyed it as a fan.
Yeah, no, I was never like, I want to be world champion around Brands Hatch or whatever. It was literally all I was ever focused on was the TT.
But you got your bike license and your mates hung around because you wanted to progress in the racing, or did you just want a motorbike just to go and ride?
No, I literally wanted a motorbike to do the TT. That
right. So it was literally.
Yeah, that's the same. Because there was like 7-8 of us, we all got motorbikes and we'd all.
What was your first bike?
Loon around. It was a DR125.
Was it?
Nice. You see, we're lucky over here on the Isle of Man. I think it's changed. No, it's still the same. At 16, you can ride a 125.
Yeah.
There's no 50s or 80s or anything like that.
Straight onto 125.
Straight onto 125, and that only came in just as I was getting 16. Before that, you could ride a GPZ 900. On L plates.
At 16?
Yeah.
No restrictions?
Yeah. No restrictions. It was mental. It was ace. Really good. And there was a group of lads above me. There was a group of lads about 3 or 4 years older than me. And they were all Southern boys as well. And that was the group I wanted. That's the group I wanted to be in. They were the biker group. And that's who I wanted to be. I wanted to be with them boys. But because I was younger, I was a bit dissed. It was like,
yeah.
And I'm a little 125, and I was like, one day I'll get me decent big bike, and I'll be with them boys. And
do you see him now?
Yeah, no, they're all good lads and stuff. And there was a few of them killed. There was a few of them killed on the road. There was a lad called Maeve. He was killed at Great Meadow. He used to work in Ramsey
on his bike.
Yeah, but the brand new. You remember the old ZXR? The ZXR 750 when it first came, the H model.
H1.
Yeah. He just got a new one of those.
89.
And it was like, whoa, that's a fucking super bike for the road, that is. It was like a thing. And he worked in Ramsey, and he came down through and he got killed on the Sun 100 bit, Wriggles farm, at Great Meadow. Yeah. Just there, he hit a tractor there. And it worked out that he'd left, because he clocked out of work or something, I don't know, say 9 o'clock. And he got to Great Meadow at like 8 minutes past 9 or something. Do you know what I mean? And that was when the accident was. And I remember Maeve getting killed at Great Meadow, and he was one of the biker crew. It was like, oh shit. And then there was Andy Cannell. He was killed when the FZR 600 first came out. He was killed on Shore Road. And it was like shit. It was, but the boys didn't hang around. Everyone was on it and going fast. And it was. But that was road riding, wasn't it? And there was loads of us doing it, and like on a Sunday, Sunday was my day. Like on a all week, I'd work all week, and then on a Sunday, that was my bike day. That was my day to go around the TT course. And we used to meet up. We'd all like in the morning, you'd work on your bike, clean it, make sure it's all right, and then we'd have to be up to the swimming pool in Ramsey by 1 o'clock. So we'd all independently get up there on our own, get into Ramsey in the swimming pool, sit down, and we're all there drinking coffee. And all I was wanting to do was go over the mountain. It was like, come on, when's everyone first going to start moving? And as soon as someone would stand up to put their helmet on, he'd be like, all right, come on. And I was, oh no, he's not going, he's going on his own. And then we'd all go as a group. Oh mate, it was amazing. It was just like wacky races over the mountain.
So no speed limit over the mountain.
No. And by this time I'd passed me DR125. I had a DR125. I passed my test then and got a KMX 200. Yeah. Because at 17 then you could have anything then. You could have any restricted CC at 17. And I got a KMX 200. Now, the KMX 200, they are the best bike in the world. Everyone goes about dual sport bikes now and all this shit. A KMX 200 is amazing. Or they were amazing. They were amazing. They do 100 mile an hour as a little 200. Yeah, and still a capable off-road bike. I did the 2-day trial route opener on my KMX 200 as well as then the next day, I'm like looning over the mountain at 100 mile an hour. Oh, mate, what a motorbike they are, the KMX 200.
So with your outlook and aspirations, what were the family like? Were they obviously the TT fans? You used to go out with your dad watching, but were they keen?
Yeah, my mum, bless her, if she was alive now, she'd have never let me do it. I mean, really? I lost my mum when I was quite young and stuff, so it was a case of like, that was probably the pivotal thing, because my mum would have never let me race. She'd have never let me race at all. And when I lost my mum, I thought to myself, sod this, I'm going to go and do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
What age was this when your mother passed?
I was 20. Yeah. I was 20, and it was like, I say she wouldn't have, and my mum was the boss. Do you know what I mean? You know, like all mums are, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? You don't dish your mum, do you? And you do as you're told. And I just thought to myself, sod this, I'm going to live my life the way I want to do. Because all my mum wanted to do is live to see me and my brother grow up, and but she never got to see that. And I thought, you got to do with your life what you want to do with it. So that was it. So yeah, I was able to go racing then, and like I say, it was just nature to go and do it, I suppose. And that's all. Like I say, that's all. As a kid, that's all I ever wanted to do. And I say, when we go back to riding around, like all my late mates would be like, "Oh, I'm going down the pub," and I'll be like, "No, I'm going for a lap." And I remember on my DR125, I had a Michelin X 90, the X91s or something they were, Charles tyre they were.
Yeah.
And I remember you'd go, and you'd be going down from the Craig, and the DR would only do 65, 70 mile an hour, and the whole tyre would just be distorting on the rim. It was a mega fun, it was. Just going around the Craig. Oh, I was ace. But yeah, so then I got the KMX 200, that was ace, and moved around, and then my first real proper race bike, or road bike, was an RGV 250.
Nice.
I got one of them. Oh, mate, and like that's when I started to go out with the lads then.
Mm-hmm. That's when you'd made it to the cool crew.
Yeah. And X-Ups, a couple of lads, the Cruise boys and stuff, they had X-Ups and Genesises and ZX10s, and them boys were, like, say, they were the real fast lads on the because it was all different groups that would meet up, but they were the fast men. They were the lunatics, Moorhead and stuff like that, and they were the loonies, and I was like, that's who I want to ride with.
And at that time, did you used to get people coming over from England on the boat, fans and stuff, and in between?
Oh yeah.
Doing laps and things, and was that a big race for you boys?
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah. I mean, Mad Sunday was the day. Mad Sunday was my day, because not like now where Mad Sunday's the whole 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Mad Sunday, that was your only chance to go one way over the mountain, go mental over the mountain, and rain or dry, you'd go mental. That's the thing. That's the problem with Mad Sunday the way it was.
Yeah.
Whereas now, at least people can build up to get to speed.
Yeah.
So when they first get off the boat, they can wobble around and go, we did 75 mile an hour this time. Next time I'll go 80, and they get used to the track and they used to know where they're going. Whereas Mad Sunday used to be just complete mayhem.
Got one chance.
Yeah, because everyone just go, I've only got a year. Next year now is the next time I can do this, so they just go mental. So, but for me, it was like Mad Sunday was the day I'd literally get up. I think they opened the roads. I think it was about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. I think it was when they made it one way till 6 o'clock at night. I'd literally just go round and round in circles. I wouldn't stop. I'd literally just petrol, just to do as many laps as I could.
So back on the coast road, back down into Ramsey, then back.
No, I'd never do that.
You do a full lap?
No, I'd always do a lap.
Oh, really?
Always do a lap. Yeah, even now I don't like to go on the coast. I wouldn't. The lads now, they go over the mountain, they go around you've got to do a lap, haven't you? That's where it's at.
Did you time yourself? Yes, that's a yes.
Yeah. I didn't. Not really. So
not really.
Yeah. I think I got 9 laps one year. I got 9 laps because obviously you could never get a clear run because there was always crashes.
Yeah.
But I got 9 laps in 1 year. Just literally just going around on the Sunday till they close the road.
You must have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
I never got a clear run. Lucky it's your track. like you qualified. I never got a clear lap.
Well,
what are you on about?
Again, the thing, I'm lucky that I come from the Isle of Man, and if ever I wanted to go, when I was learning the circuits effectively, or wanted to go, I'd get up first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning, last thing at night is the best time to learn the circuit.
Because there's nothing on there.
Yeah, there's nothing on it, so you can get a good rip.
Wait, so Mad Sunday, you say it was one way, just the mountain or the whole place? Right, okay,
just the mountain,
not the whole place.
Yeah, just the mountain. But the thing is, traditionally, Sunday.
And then, back in that era, were there speed limits anywhere?
Yeah, there were. There's always been speed limits in towns, but I mean, now they're everywhere.
Yeah, but they didn't used to be between the towns.
No. It was good. You could really
So Potter through Downbrae Hill.
Yeah, Downbrae Hill. You get to Union Mills, up Ballahutchin, you can go fast, and then through Union Mills and Crosby, there was a little bit, but then you could stretch it on again, and then Glen Helen, there never used to be a speed limit through Glen Helen or anything, up through Cronkavardy, down through. Next thing is then into Kirkmichael, a little bit in Kirkmichael, and through then to Ballaugh, and then a little bit more then. But it was good, really good. I mean, obviously it's dangerous, and the roads are too busy now to do that. I can see why they've done it. You know, it is literally, there's too many people living here. But in them days, the roads weren't that busy.
So you're learning the course without learning the course. You're just taking it all in every single day because you're out there and you're... Yeah,
pretty much.
But you're not thinking, right, I need to think about where I'd be on the racing line. You're just riding it.
Yeah, just riding it, really. Just riding it and feeling the bumps and stuff. And that's the thing, because once the roads are closed, it's a completely different track, effectively.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's only the mountain that you could ever really try as a racetrack. And I always remember my first time I ever did it, 95. I said 96 on there, but it's 95 was the first time I did it. And
Phil Wayne wrong. Is he wrong?
During the war.
Sack the assistant. But 95.
Sorry, Phil.
I always remember the night before my first practice. It was the Saturday night practice, yeah. And I remember the night before I was panicking because I thought, I go out there and I try my best and I could only do like an 80-mile-an-hour lap. I'll be devastated because that's all I ever wanted to do.
And this would be the first time you'd ever gone out on your own, fully closed roads.
Yeah. And I was panicking. I was like,
paranoid about failure.
Yeah. It was like, what if I go out and I can't do it? What am I going to do now? What am I going to do? But it was all right. I broke McCallum's lap record, didn't I? So it was all right.
Not on the first lap?
No, first, right, okay. On the second night I did, yeah.
Second night?
Yeah. So it was all right. So then I knew then, I was like, right, yeah, we're on it.
What was the record then?
It was 107, I think it was.
Unbelievable.
107.
Back in 95 as well.
Yeah, it was all right. But that was, 95 was a turmoil. It was turmoil, that was, because, again, it was your first year, and again, we were talking about heroes, and sorry, we're flipping from one thing to the other here. There's so much going on in my head.
That's fine.
And you were talking about heroes, but I had a couple of other little local heroes as well. And there was a lad called Decker Kelly, who literally just lived down the road from me. And at the time,
the racer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was a top racer, and he was the top man at the Manx Grand Prix. He was one of the always at the top, top 3 or 4 and stuff. And he eventually won it. And Decker, and he, as a kid, I'd hear him, fettling his bikes and rum. And he literally only lived like a quarter of a mile down the road from me. And so he was like my local hero as such. And there was another lad, Pete Hounsell. He was one of my heroes as well that I used to ride on the road with, that was doing racing as well. And so Decker was the local man, and Decker showed me around a little bit as regards to from the racing side of things. And that was a good little help as well, because Decker showed me the racing side of things. But I've lost my track now where we were. But in 95, it was literally so full on, and I thought, shit, I need to make sure that I do this right. And after up to the second night, the Monday night, I was on fire. I thought, brilliant, that was it. And I'd gone from a nobody effectively. I'd won the 400 Derby Championship the year before in the RGV, and then I got a TZ 250 to do the roads on, because you need a proper bike, don't you? Not just a road-based one. So my dad refinanced the bloody house to buy this TZ for me, and it was immaculate. It was a beautiful thing. But up to Monday, it was running brilliant, and we'd done like 6-7 laps. I thought, I'll put some new pistons in it. So put some new pistons in it then, just to keep it fresh. So banged some new pistons in it. Went out on the Tuesday, and the bugger seized on me, didn't it? Oh. So I was like, bollocks. So
no crash. Just
nipped up coming to Ballaugh. Nipped up coming to Ballaugh. I was like, oh no. So I pulled in Ballaugh, and Ballaugh obviously is the furthest a bit away from the paddock, isn't it? The furthest point effectively to get there in the van. Mm-hmm. So the boys come and pick me up. I live down south as well, so we picked up and then had to go all the way back down south.
Needed your passport.
Yeah, exactly.
Get back into Douglas.
Say hello to the fairies. And so he gets down there. I worked pretty much on it all night then, got the spare barrel on it, put that on it, got it fired up again. So I didn't get a good night's sleep that night. And them days as well, you had morning practice.
I was just going to ask that. That was still. So
I pretty much didn't get any didn't get any sleep then, that Tuesday night, to then go straight to morning practice. So it was like,
what time was that out of bed?
You're out of bed about 4 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah.
4 o'clock to get there.
That'd wake you up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was. Morning practice are amazing. They weren't brilliant on the TZ and on 2-strokes because you had to jet them differently, and the track temperature was always cold, and they were always. But for a surreal experience, oh my god, going through Kurt Michael and there's like nobody there, no one around anywhere. There was no spectators even.
No,
there was literally like no spectators.
So just to change the conversation slightly, so in that era, obviously with morning practice being so early and stuff, and I was reading something last night about obviously kind of 7 o'clock in the morning it was all over.
Yeah. Back to
what?
Yeah.
And with temperatures being down as well, obviously the bikes have run half decent, especially 2-strokes with it being nice and cool and crisp. But my point being is, to get a fast lap in for qualifying, did you have to wait for a different? Was there any sessions during the day to do that? Was it all morning practice?
Yeah, there was no. In them days, there was no qualifying as such.
Right.
It was effectively practice.
Just practice.
Yeah, it was just classed as practice because you got your start number and that's where you started. So there was no.
Everybody wants to be fastest even in practice.
Yeah, I know, and you always did. You always looked at your times, but you were never going out to. I never went out to go, right, I'm going to make sure to go number one. Because I was just trying to get a good setup on the bike, trying to get it to make sure she was pulling right, the suspension was good. And
so, but the front boys would have done. Back in your day, the Phil Reeds and the Mike Hales.
Yeah, But the morning practice was nice, but I never pushed on in the morning, if you know what I mean. I never purposely pushed on. The evening was always the one that I always thought, right, they can get going here. And again, a lot of lads wouldn't necessarily go out in the mornings because they'd be like, maybe have a beer the night before and think, well, my bike's running all right, I'll stay in bed this morning. So the track was generally a bit quieter in the mornings. And but yeah, it was seeing, I remember one time I sat in the start line and over the town, we can't start, it was pitch black, like this, pitch black, and you're like, we can't start just yet, we're going to have to wait to get a little bit lighter. Waiting another 10 minutes.
We're not filming this at night, by the way. We're in the studio.
And literally, it was like, right, okay, we can go now. It's literally like someone's flicking a switch and putting the lights on.
Really?
Literally just got like that quick, bing, and then was it, we were away.
Yeah, but you're all just sat on the start line waiting for that.
In pitch black. You'd come through scrutiny, you get the bike out of the van in pitch black, you go through scrutiny, you're in pitch black, up on the start line, still pitch black.
Like you say, it must be such a surreal experience.
Yeah, there's no tie warmers and anything in them days either. You were no tie warmers. It was literally we just sat on the line. Right, okay, ready to go.
And that wasn't really that long ago when you think about it, was it?
So for me, the bike never really got up to temperature and the body didn't, and so on. Tyres, until Union Mills. What was it like then? No tie warmers. How long could you wait to kind of get a good feel and push a little bit?
Again, I always...
In the mornings.
Yeah, I always, like you were saying, the Union Mills, going up Bala Hutchin for me that's the warm-up lap. And even now, that's what I tell all the lads, just up to the Bala Hutchin. Once you got through Bala Hutchin, then, you're up to temperature, the bike's up to temperature, the tyres up to temperature. Sorry?
Where's that?
Bala Hutchin, just as between basically Union Mills and Crosby.
Sorry, I know.
The hill. Yeah.
Oh, Ballascary.
Yeah, just before Ballascary, yeah. So that's your 2 miles, almost 3 miles into it there. So you're 3 miles into it there. So that's your warm-up lap.
Yeah.
So that's where you just make sure you go steady through there. And even now, so once you got up to Bala Hutchin, the 2-strokes there was terrible. That's where they'd nip up. That little gradient, she'd just nip there.
Yeah.
So, and at Ballascary as well was always really bad, just on the, as you rolled off, she'd just nip on you. So you had to always feather the clutch on the way in. Oh, she's all right, she's there. But yeah. So you hear some lads, they used to put tights and stuff on underneath the leathers because it was that cold in the morning, and it was up over the mountain. It was like freezing cold.
Going for a night out.
Well, whatever floats your boat, Stevie. Whatever floats your boat. Yeah, but no. The morning practice was something that obviously modern day TT riders don't never experience, but they're They were special things,
Yeah,
really
I
were
bet.
special. And again, because, you had a morning practice, night practice, it was full on. It was proper full on. There was no rest.
Yeah.
You literally were fixing the bike and then going back out again.
Yeah,
and then fixing
especially in the two-stroke era.
Yeah, oh yeah, Jesus Christ, you have the things in bits.
And I guess at that point, if the track was slightly damper, you'd still go out on it.
Oh yeah. There was no
waiting for it all to be bone dry.
Yeah, no, there was none of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was, but which is in them days. Now you think it's ludicrous, but in them days it was just part of the course. It was like, yeah, well, and the bikes didn't have the horsepower, but you were still committed on the two strokes at every corner. We were full commitment, and so yeah, it was. But we were a bit like cannon fodder in the old days. I always felt it was like, yeah, just go out there to entertain the troops. Go on, get out there. It's raining, doesn't matter. Go on, get out there. Well,
That was the mentality.
Yeah. Whereas now, obviously, you've got Gary that that actually cares about us. So it's not so bad. So
Right, let's end part one right there. Well, we've not even really got to your TT career, let alone the thing I wanted to talk about most was how the newcomers learn the circuit now with you and Barty. That's really what I want to get into. But also,
Or do they?
Well, yeah.
well, you never stop learning, Steve. You never stop learning, mate. You never stop learning.
Right, make sure you join us in part 2 with Milky Quayle.